Hello there, people. I just wanted to do a video. Even though it's a couple of days after the match, I wanted to do a video regarding the Celtic and Hearts match from the weekend there. It was a big match. It was a vital match from both teams' point of view. Uh, so, the game started off pretty frantic, to be honest. Celtic took the lead quite early on with a fantastic free kick from Benjamin Nygren. I always knew he had that kind of thing in his locker. That's why I always say that Nygren should be starting these games. He's got to start the big games for Celtic. I know that he does get criticism, but let's be honest, under Wilfred Nancy, nobody had any pass marks and stuff like that. But Benjamin Nygren is now up there on top of the leaderboard, and he's just a great player. You know, he misses quite a lot of chances for me. I think he needs to work on his, his overall finishing consistently. I think obviously, like I say, he's got that kind of finish in his locker, but he doesn't put the ball away in the back of the net enough. Even though he's top goal scorer, you know what I mean? It just shows you that he does get loads of chances that he does squander, to be honest. But really, really good player. Puts the ball in the back of the net like that, especially into a on form, fantastic 43-year-old Craig Gordon, 43, I'm sure he is. To beat him for there is obviously just testament to the great strike that it was. So, obviously, from a Celtic point of view, you're thinking, right, that's a great start. The first 15, 20 minutes, I thought Celtic were the better team. To turn up at Tynecastle and create chances like that and then score a great goal, you're thinking this could be a really good day. And I was confident before the match, to be honest. I just feel under a Martin O'Neill team, Celtic are a different kind of animal, you know what I mean? It's like, under Wilfred Nancy would have lost this match, no doubt about it. But as the game goes on, Celtic were awful, to be honest. They really were. They gave the ball away constantly. Dyson Maida was getting the ball away. Engels getting the ball away. Even Callum McGregor was constantly giving the ball away. It wasn't good enough for Celtic. I was impressed with Araho at right back. I thought that he was a threat. But again, very, very sloppy in the ball, everybody. But the first half, I thought Celtic, I thought they defended pretty well. There was no many chances that Hearts got in the first half, clear-cut chances and stuff. But, yeah, obviously there was the chance for Kyrgios in the first half that Schmeichel gets down well to and saves from an Auston Trusty sloppy back pass. But that was about it, really, for Hearts. They did try and create stuff, but Celtic defended pretty well. Auston Trusty and Scales, I thought, were really good in the first half. Schmeichel made some good saves. Kieran Tierney was good, so it was fine that point of view, but they just couldn't pass the ball. The passing, particularly middle of the park, I thought was really bad. I've seen a lot of reports saying that the new guy, I can't even say his name, man, honestly. I'm not even going to attempt it, but the big centre forward, the big Czech Republic centre forward, I'm not quite used to his name yet, and I'm terrible with names, so, but I seen a lot of reports saying that he was good in that. I wasn't really impressed with him in the first half. I thought that he kind of gave the ball away quite a bit. I thought he fouled quite a bit. I wasn't really impressed. But then again, that's to be expected from a guy that's not kicked a ball in months. He's no in form at the moment. It's hard to just expect a guy to come into such a ferocious match when he's hardly played any football and, do well. And I think the first half that did kind of show, to be honest. I thought that he was a bit sloppy in the first half, but I was willing to give him benefit of doubt. Second half comes out. I thought Celtic started really poorly. I thought Hearts started well. Hearts were trying to take it to Celtic. And then it's a case of Hearts are really, really, really good at putting the ball in the box. Well, the first half, and even during the week there, Celtic defended the ball, their box quite well, to be honest, from set plays. But in the second half, Celtic just kind of crumbled in that department. And Hearts are really, really good at it, They're the top leaders, top goal scorers in the league from set plays. I think it's 13 now they've scored from set plays. But Stuart Findlay gets in the end of a corner at the back post, and it's one each. Poor defending from Celtic. Shouldn't be getting beat at the back post like that at anybody, you know what I mean? It's very, very poor. Stuart Findlay did well to get up, good player. I like Stuart Findlay. I've been speaking about him in the podcast about how I believe him and Halkett should probably go to the World Cup at this point. If the World Cup was to come around next month, I'd be putting they two in my team, in the squad at least anyway. I think they've had a fantastic season, the pair of them. But yeah, so that Stuart Findlay equalises. Celtic were just consistently sloppy again. And by the way, I can't say that Hearts were any good either, to be honest. Hearts were giving the ball away quite a bit, and it was just a very sloppy match, to be honest. The ball was always getting played out of play, or it was getting passed to the opposition, and it was up in the air, and it just was a pretty rough match to watch, to be honest. There wasn't much quality in it. I mean, the goals were quality. I thought there was a bit of quality in all 4 goals, to be honest. But, Hearts were, they were knocking the door, and I'm thinking, this is only going to go one way here. But the big striker again for Celtic gets himself in good position, runs at the defence, plays a really, really good ball in, and Yang comes in, good timing, comes in and sticks it away and makes it 2-1 to Celtic. And I was jumping about daft because I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting Hearts to go on and grab another goal, to be honest, because they were the more dominant team. They were creating the more chances and stuff, the most chances. But when you are champions and you've got good players and stuff, you can always grab a goal. And, Celtic did that just before it. The striker, he had a header and it hit off the bar. So Celtic, they were always threatening. There was never a time in the match where, you couldn't see Celtic scoring. But, Hearts were by far the most dominant team. But then the big decision comes up. So Celtic are, they're 15, 20 minutes away from winning the match. And then a simple ball goes through, and Auston Trusty is up against Kabori. And to me, initially, when it happened, I thought that's a red card and a foul. I can see the argument of the ball's going to be if you play and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it was a simple pass through. It shouldn't have happened. You shouldn't be so exposed like that. And second of all, Auston Trusty pulled him back. When probably the better thing to do was just let him go through, to be honest, and see if Casper can save it or if he can fluff his lines, because it happened a few times. But Auston Trusty decides to take him out. Yes, Scales is covering, but to me, you're asking for trouble when you're in that position. My main issue with the decision was the fact that Nick Walsh decided, he took an eternity to pull out the card from his pocket, and he brandished a yellow card to Auston Trusty. And I was really, really surprised at that. I was shocked. But VAR intervened, right, which obviously they're entitled to do. And they send Nick Walsh to the monitor, right? Now, fair enough, again, that's fine. But I don't really know what Nick Walsh saw differently on the monitor that he didn't see initially. The reason he's gave the yellow card is because he's seen Liam Scales covering and he's seen the ball change direction. So what is it that he's went to the monitor and realised, oh no, I've made a mistake there? Did he not realise the ball was changing direction? But why did he give the yellow card then? Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit weird for me. It's a bit weird how Nick Walsh changed his mind. I've not really got an issue with the red card. I've got an issue with why Nick Walsh changed his mind. I just find that a bit strange. But anyway, Auston Trusty gets the red card. Nick Walsh goes over to the monitor, changes his mind to a red card. Auston Trusty leaves the park, and there's about 14, 15 minutes to go with Celtic holding on. Let's be honest, that's what was happening. Hearts peppered the goal. Schmeichel made some good saves. There was an amazing block from Liam Scales from Kariadis again. But as predicted, Hearts did end up equalising. Ball comes into the box and Claudio Braga sticks it away, who loads of people, when I put a video up last week asking if we were to name player of the season right now, then loads of people did say Claudio Braga. Most people did say Cammy Devlin, to be fair. But Claudio Braga sticks the ball away, makes it 2 each, and I'm thinking, oh no, here we go, man. This is going to be bad because, I think there was like 5 minutes left at that point and also stoppage time, and there ended up being 8 minutes stoppage time. And you're thinking this is only going to go one way here. But Luckily for Celtic, they did hold on. Celtic made a couple of substitutions, brought on Ralston just after Trusty went off the park. Tynecastle came on. So, you know, all in all, it was a very, very poor performance from Celtic. It wasn't the best of matches. I wouldn't be really over the moon if I was a Hearts fan. At the end of the day, Hearts are going to be happy with the draw. They're still going to be 6 points clear of Celtic. But, and the other team in Glasgow, Rangers, they were playing Dundee on Sunday and they won the match 3-0. So that now puts Rangers just 4 points behind Hearts in the league. They're 2 points ahead of Celtic. So, you know, it's all to play for in the next few months. Celtic, from a Celtic point of view, Celtic are going to have to up their game. They're going to have to do better. I thought it was really, really poor. The sloppiness, though, you know, there was some good elements of the match. You know, Celtic defended pretty well, I thought, for a large part of the matches, particularly the first half. But then these stupid things, you know, with Auston Trusty in the first half and not passing it back properly, and then obviously getting sent after the second half, and just a simple ball was worrying through, you know. But, you know, Celtic are creating chances. They're still scoring goals and that, but they need to up their game when it comes to the simple passing of the ball. Even during the week there, you know, Rio Hatate gets sent off, and he was awful before it. Everybody knows my thoughts on Rio Hatate. The guy just simply isn't good enough for Celtic anymore, at all. He can't pass the ball. Everything he touches just is not good enough. He makes mistakes constantly. He keeps fouling people, and Rio Hatate, for whatever reason, it seems to have lost all his ability whatsoever. So, but anyway, Celtic still can win the league. It's all up for grabs. Celtic, Rangers and Hearts. And for me, it's good for Scottish football. Obviously, I don't want this to happen. I want Celtic to win the league. But from an outside point of view, if you're a neutral and you're watching the Scottish Premier League right now, you're thinking, finally, there's a bit of competition. There's a bit of fight from other teams outside Celtic and Rangers. There actually is a title race on here. And there is, without a doubt. Celtic, Rangers and Hearts can all win the league. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments on the match, on Scottish football in general at the moment. Who do you think is going to win the league? And remember, like this video, and also keep an eye out on all the stuff we've got coming up. We're talking to Paul Dawson, the man who scored the first goal in the Macclesfield match and their historic win over Crystal Palace the other week. Looking forward to him. He's the captain of Macclesfield and that as well. So looking forward to talking to Paul. And also subscribe to the channel and all of our socials. Thanks very much.